A Celtic goalkeeper has revealed shocking injury news that could end his career. A top European manager has finally spoken about the Celtic job, and we've got major updates on the coaching staff. Plus, the title race just got even more intense. It's been a massive 24 hours for Celtic. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Celtic goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel has responded to all the reaction after this week's bombshell news that he may never play football again. The Celtic goalkeeper admitted this week that he could be finished in the game after being told he needs 2 surgeries that will sideline him for up to a year. At 39, that sort of recovery time doesn't leave much room for a return. The extent of the damage is severe. Schmeichel revealed he tore his bicep, his rotator cuff, the labrum, and dislocated his shoulder. It's the kind of injury list that explains a lot when you look back at his recent performances. Supporters could see that something wasn't right. There were moments where he looked restricted, hesitant, nowhere near the level expected. Now we know why. He'd been playing through it for months, relying on injections just to get on the pitch, pushing himself for Denmark's World Cup bid. That context changes how his final appearances in a Celtic shirt are viewed. Speaking a day after breaking the news, Schmeichel opened up on the reaction he's received. Yeah, it was one of those things. I think I just wanted to get it out there because there have been so many questions. And, people keep asking. People are nice. They ask if you're all right. And I think it was good to just get it out there. People have had a great reaction. I will get back to everyone. My phone has been on fire. So, yeah, people have been very, very nice. The support has been there, but so has criticism. Some at the player, some at the club. If anything, the bigger questions sit with Celtic. How was a goalkeeper carrying that level of injury deemed fit to play in big games? The club line at the time pointed towards illness and a short-term issue. That doesn't line up with what has now come out. Fans were watching a player struggle and being told he would be fine. That disconnect hasn't gone unnoticed. From the outside, it looks like a player giving everything, putting his body on the line for club and country. From a Celtic perspective, it raises serious concerns. Player welfare, medical decisions, and transparency all come into it. Why was he on the pitch? Why was the full picture not made clear? Those questions aren't going away. The frustration is there, and it will linger until Celtic properly address it. Now for the main story, as Roberto Martinez is a name that will not go away in the rumours for the next managerial job at Celtic. Martin O'Neill returned for the second time this season on an interim basis and will leave in the summer after the season is completed. Celtic will then look to make a permanent appointment. Sean Maloney is already at the club. He's been Martinez's assistant in the past, and a reunion could happen if the Spanish gaffer gets the Celtic job. He's set to lead Portugal at the World Cup, but reports have suggested that he will be dismissed after the tournament and Jose Mourinho will replace him. As he announced his Portuguese qualifiers for the upcoming international break, naturally, he was asked some questions about his future. Quizzed on his future, he said, "The future of the head coach is not important. What matters is the World Cup. The World Cup cannot wait. The coach's future can, and it can be discussed after the tournament. The president and I are aligned. The focus is the World Cup." Asked if he's had approaches from clubs at this stage, he responded, "When there are good results, which is our case, because fortunately the Portuguese national team wins a lot, then it's normal that I've had some. It's not a taboo subject, but now we are aligned to try to do everything we can to prepare our national team for the World Cup. That's the focus. We are all together in the federation for the same objective, which is to fight in the same way for the World Cup. Another major rebuild is needed in the summer, and you hope that Celtic will have a manager in the door sooner rather than later. The sooner that the new gaffer gets in the building, the quicker preparations for next season can get underway. Whether Martinez, who was linked to the job before Ange Postecoglou arrived in Glasgow, is in the dugout for next season remains to be seen. In other news, Celtic interim assistant Sean Maloney has offered a clear indication of where he sees himself once this season draws to a close. Maloney has stepped back into a frontline role during a chaotic spell at the club, working alongside Martin O'Neill as the Hoops chase down Hearts in the title race and push for the Scottish Cup. Maloney is no stranger to the dugout. He spent 3 years assisting Roberto Martinez with Belgium before taking charge of Hibernian and later Wigan Athletic. But there's no rush from his side to jump back into management. Instead, his focus remains fixed on seeing out the job he committed to when he returned to Celtic. He said, "I gave Michael and the board my word I would do the job this season and next, and I will stick to that. That commitment has shaped his thinking, even if recent events have pulled him back onto the training pitch and into matchday preparation. I wanted to take that time away from management. It hasn't worked out that way with everything that's happened, but I have really enjoyed being back out on the grass with the players. and being involved in games again. Maloney had initially moved into a different remit at the club, one that kept him away from the daily coaching environment. The role that I took, managing the exits and the loans, didn't involve me being on the pitch. I was going to a lot of games, I was watching the younger players, I was visiting the players who are on loan at a more senior level. That work is still where he sees himself heading back to, regardless of how the current campaign finishes. But at the moment, the plan is just to go back to that role as soon as this season is finished. As I say, I gave my word that I wouldn't go anywhere else for those 2 seasons, and I will stick to that. I am really enjoying being back at the club. There's no sense of urgency about what comes next beyond that. I don't think the pro license is relatable. I've already done Hibs and Wigan while I've been doing the pro license. I will see what it looks like after the next 12 to 14 months. But I gave my word to Michael and the board that I would do it for 2 years. At the moment, I'm okay. I'm really enjoying working with Martin. Martin O'Neill hasn't shut the door on extending his stay beyond this season, and that uncertainty means questions around the coaching setup will continue. Maloney's stance brings at least a bit of clarity. For now, his attention is on the immediate job. Celtic still have a league title to claw back and a Scottish Cup to secure. After that, Maloney looks set to step away from the touchline again, even if his recent return has shown he's more than capable of operating there. Whether that lasts is another matter entirely. Lastly, the title race is so tight in the Scottish Premiership. Hearts lead the way, with Celtic chasing them, just 2 points adrift. Rangers sit in third, 1 point behind the Hoops and 3 behind Hearts. Motherwell, who were in the conversation at one point, now sit 7 points behind Rangers. Despite leading the way, Hearts are under no pressure, according to Stephen Pressley. The former Celtic defender is currently in charge of Dundee, and after a nightmare start to the season, he's turned things around at the club and is looking to get the 3 points when he takes his side to Tynecastle on Saturday. Dundee are unbeaten in 5 heading into the match, with a win against Motherwell and a late derby comeback draw against Dundee United, their last 2 matches. Pressley explained why the pressure is on Celtic and Rangers rather than Hearts as the split nears. Playing at Hearts, I understand the club. There is always an expectation there, and they have done so well this season, but I think a lot of people externally think that probably Rangers or Celtic will just nick it. That is what a lot of people are thinking, so I'm not sure the pressure is with Hearts. But there will be internal pressure they put on themselves after having such a good season, and because they are in this situation, they want to go the full distance. Celtic know what they need to do to win the league this season. On paper, it's simple, win every game left. But Celtic have shown that reality isn't quite simple this season. 8 games perfect isn't something that will come easy, with Rangers, Motherwell, Hearts, Hibs and Falkirk all to play post-split. Those matches come after trips to Tayside to face Dundee and Dundee United and a home match against St Mirren. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.